Hi, my name is Suresh Thakor. I am an entrepreneur, host of the Bliss Hacker Radio podcast, contributing writer to the Good Men Project, and a student in Andrew O'Brien's 4-week Media Exposure Challenge. Now, being that I'm a contributing writer and also a podcast host, and I always try to get on other podcasts as well, I thought I knew something about media exposure. I would do press releases, I would try to reach out to things, I would do whatever I could based on Google, right? I looked and saw what people would post about how to get more media exposure, and that was my game. And unfortunately for me, by doing that game, it was a lot of tedious work, and I didn't really have an idea if it was going to work or not. I just threw stuff at the wall hoping it would work. Luckily for me, I had Andrew O'Brien come on my podcast, and he gave me a master class on media exposure, and a lot of the things that I thought were really important, like media kits and press releases, he totally disagreed with and provided a better example as to what he did. And I thought I should listen because Andrew O'Brien has 70 national and international media outlets that he's been on. And so I took his class, the 4-week Media Exposure Challenge. Now, I got to tell you, it is challenging. And, it's not going to be for everybody. It's definitely a lot of work. But what you're trying to do is to build a system. You see, before I would just try to get on a podcast, or I would try to get onto a particular blog or publication. And I really didn't have a rhyme or reason how I was doing it. I was just trying to, throw something out there and hoping by massive effort that somehow, some way, those numbers would allow me to get the media exposure I needed. Now, Andrew provides us a system of things that work, and it's an essential system, so we get rid of a lot of the superfluous things that are out there. So if you Google media exposure, things like media kits and press releases, all those crazy little things that we think are good, well, they're not. And I could tell you, I'm on the second week of this class. I'm a little behind because, like I said, it's a lot of work, but I do feel like I'm going in the right direction. I've gotten on more podcasts in the last week than I'd had in the last 3 months. And so it is just a wonderful class. I highly recommend it, especially if you think you know everything about media exposure. You are going to be thrilled. I kind of say it's like, previously for me, I was kind of on a linear path when it came to media exposure. I was, making a win here, making a win there, and slowly but surely, gradually going. And sometimes it felt like you were going 2 steps back. But with Andrew O'Brien's class, I feel like I'm on a 10x path, and I'm just amazed at the results. In fact, so much so, I took this class because I wanted more exposure for the Bliss Hacker Radio podcast and what we're doing, but I'm also implementing it on my business as well, and I'm really excited about that. And lastly, I think the main thing is if you really want media exposure, it is a 4-week challenge, but what you're going to learn, you're going to use for the rest of your life. Once you know that skill, you might as well just write a blank check. That's what it's going to feel like. You really need to get this class.